In news from Jamaica, having announced that for the first time in 11 months, Jamaica missed its primary surplus target for February and overran its capital expenditure budget, co-chairman for the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Richard Biles, says the issue of revenue being below target has been ongoing. He says the committee will be speaking with authorities to implement strategies to prevent the recurring problem in two particular areas.
So particularly in respect of company tax and GCT, EPOC wants to have some discussions with the authorities about what is happening there and how can we avoid that in the future. One comment I'd make on the company tax. It is said that the fiscal incentive regime that was introduced about a year and a half ago, the first full year of it was in the last fiscal year, that is April 2014 to February of this year. And when they look at the corporate returns, what they're seeing is less tax because people are meeting the requirements of the fiscal incentive regime.
Mr. Biles says the state of the country's GDP is another worrisome area, but a change for the positive is on the horizon.
Negative 0.4% growth. And that again is largely to do with the lingering effects of the drought on agriculture. Because what we see is that the goods producing sectors of the economy contracted by nearly 4%, 3.9 to be exact, even though the services sector, which includes tourism, expanded by 0.8%. So that effect of the drought, which really gripped Jamaica between about July down into almost October, really destroyed growth in the July to September quarter, and now we are seeing bleeds over into the October to December quarter also. Notwithstanding, the authorities expect that the whole fiscal year, that is from April 2014 to March 2015, will end up with 0.4% positive GDP growth.
On the flip side, the EPOC co-chairman says the net international reserves, NIR, is way ahead of target. As at March, it was $2.3 billion, surpassing the $1.4 billion target. Mr. Biles says another good news for the country's economy at this time is the state of its inflation.
Inflation for February was minus 0.7, and this is the fourth consecutive month that inflation has been negative. It's driven mostly by the impact, what I'd call a second round impact of lower oil prices. So electricity rates continue to fall somewhat. And that was a major contributor to the contraction in inflation. To February, the last 12 months, inflation has been a mere 4.5%. This is quite remarkable. Because I believe the expectation was that inflation for the fiscal year, which ends in March, would turn out to be somewhere around 7%. So it's likely to be considerably below that 7% mark. But we await the March figures of inflation to be absolutely sure.